Hello and good afternoon for our August Rebel community event. Hello, all you rebels out there. Hello, Marcel.
Hi.
And hello from me, from Daniela. I hope all of you are having a fantastic summertime at the moment. There is a lot to talk about in terms of um, global events that are going on around the world. However, when it comes to Rebel, I have to admit that over the last month, we weren't able to put as much effort and time to the Rebel project as we would have hoped for. So our focus was taken up on another project. Go check it out. It's called My Period Data is Mine, where we are trying to set up the first fully encrypted and open source software period tracker that keeps the data on your phone so that nobody can get their hands on it. So go over to My Period Data is Mine and have a look at what we've been up to. Unfortunately, though, Rebel had to take a back seat, and looking ahead, I have to tell you that this will not change in the next month. So for that reason, we have decided to cancel the September Rebel community event and pick up again in October. The reason is that we wholeheartedly believe that the period tracker, the first MVP, will be available and ready middle end of September, and then we can come back to Rebel and put all our weight behind that. Anything else that you would like to add, Marcel?
No, I think we've done quite a bit on the documentation side, on Rebel documentation, cleaning up the broken links and um, mainly around the broken links. So whether whether the links have been updated or redirected and things like that. It's just a bit of maintenance work that has been looking at trying to automate the fixing or at least detecting of the broken links. We're currently down to 7 links that are still reported as broken, but when you actually click on them, they do work. So I need to find out why the reporting of the broken links is causing a problem. There is a known issue, for example, with links to GitHub, ironically, where the project itself is based. So if you point to a link on the README file, for example, the homepage of the GitHub Rebel documentation or Rebel Toolbox itself, the link is reported as broken, even though the link itself works. So when we have documentation that points to GitHub, and we can go and have a look at the GitHub and see what's there, those links themselves are being reported as broken, even though they're working. So there's a bit of frustration there. Some of the other websites, for example, the virtual reality websites that, for example, the Facebook and its Oculus documentation, when you're trying to get the Oculus virtual reality working on Rebel, the documentation points to the Facebook or the Meta documentation on that. And again, the link is reported as broken, but when you click on the link, it works. So at the moment, although all the links are now working within Rebel documentation, the tool to report on broken links is reporting broken links. So I can't automatically set up warnings to say there's a broken link because we already have 7 of our links being reported as broken. So it's a bit of an issue there that needs to be resolved, but it's on the back end. And how do we make sure that links that break in the future are being detected? Because obviously, if it's always reporting 7 broken links, one tends to ignore the warning message when there's an 8th one because you're so used to getting a message saying there's 7 broken links. So I've been looking at that, been working with the team that does the documentation itself, the conversion from the restructured text files to the HTML files through a project called Sphinx. They're also aware of the problem, and it's down to the fact that GitHub and other software hosting platforms, not just GitHub, but GitLab, but also all the free ones that are available for people from Codeberg to um, creating your own ones using the can't remember the names now. But anyway, there's different ones. They all use the same approach. In other words, use a JavaScript to append, or let's prepend a phrase such as user content, so that people can't break the links within the page by having a phrase that would point to something else. So anything that starts with user content obviously is only ever going to point to the content that you're referring to, and not within the document itself. And then they use JavaScript to automatically scroll the page to the right location. So when you try and check the link to that user content link, the link itself is broken. Unfortunately, you can't just prepend user content because different tools use different approaches. So GitLab uses a completely JavaScript-based one. They don't even have a pre-printed user font. They use a content word to the link. They use everything via JavaScript. Other people do different things. So unless we do a complete JavaScript page load to see whether the JavaScript itself would work, we're currently a bit stuck on finding a solution to that. So that's what we have been doing on the Rebel side, is looking at the Rebel documentation, making sure all the documentation links, and it's just part of cleaning up the documentation that we've inherited, and making sure that it's useful and that people can use it, and going forward for making games with Rebel Engine and Rebel Toolbox tools in general.
Good. Thank you for the update. As I mentioned, today's a short call. And if you want to have a look over at our other projects, myperioddatasmine.com, we need a lot of help there as well. Or otherwise, have a look at GitHub and see where you can contribute to Rebel. See what would you like to see in Rebel, what's missing right now, what would help you, what would be the one thing you want to see before the end of the year, and let us know. And of course, you can always join us here on our call. You can also head over to our Patreon page and support us. Yes, it is true. We do work for money as well. So the more you donate, the quicker we can get your requests into the product. So become a member either actively by contributing or by donating to our project. And let's make Rebel Toolbox and Rebel Engine grow and become the best game engine that there is.
And I think that's key. Identifying what are the priority issues that people who are using the Rebel Engine want us to work on. What issues do you think are important to you, and would, if they're resolved, would help you with your Rebel Engine games. Mm-hmm. So I think it's very important to get that feedback. It's not just wait for issues to be solved, but actually tell us which issues you would like to work on.
Yes, exactly. And with that, I'll leave you all. And as I mentioned, our next call to here together with the Rebel community is on the second Tuesday of October. So we will see you here back in October.
Yeah, and that's also the UTC, and because summertime will have kicked in. Will it have kicked in? It depends which part of the world you're in, whether summertime would have kicked in or not. But just be aware that the time zone may be different, depending whether your summertime or wintertime has kicked in.
Yes. If in any doubt, just get in touch, email, social media, phone us if you like, and we'll talk about it to make sure you get the time right. Thanks for the shout out. Okay. Thank you, and see you in October.
Thank you.
Thank you.